All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to This Explainer, where we are embarking on a comprehensive chronological study guide through the incredibly deep lore and honestly phenomenal character arcs of Dreamweaver Book 3. Today, we're exploring a breathtaking story. It's one where the lines between predestination and personal choice are rigorously tested, where friendship is pushed to its absolute limits, and where the darkest nightmares are confronted by the purest light. So, if you love tracking complex narrative milestones, unpacking vivid visual metaphors, and diving into profound thematic lessons about redemption and the human heart, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's do this!
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to hit the Lost Smile arc, the Realm of Nightmares journey, confronting the soul despair, the Nightmare King's test, beauty and the nightmare, and finally wrap up with how choice overcomes predestination.
Starting right off with Section 1, the Lost Smile arc.
Okay, picture this brilliant visual metaphor established early on. Zan, our protagonist, is absolutely terrified by this prophecy claiming he's destined to be the ultimate nightmare. During a brutal math exam, which, let's be real, is stress-inducing enough on its own, his internal anxiety just completely boils over and he runs out into a torrential downpour. He genuinely perceives himself as a walking disaster, and that cold, isolating rain perfectly mirrors his internal state. But wait, contrast that internal dread with what he actually does. While wandering in the storm, he spots some children in mortal danger from a falling metal bar at a construction site. Without a second of hesitation, he instantly springs into action. He emits this blinding, pure light of Eino Hikari, the light of love, to save them. So the rain symbolizes his internal despair, but that blinding light, it proves his undeniable heroism.
Wandering alone after that heroic act, Zan finds himself stepping into Christ the King Catholic Church. Now think about how this specific setting deeply influences what happens next. Outside, there is a literal and figurative torrential storm of anxiety, but inside the church, sanctuary, peace, divine stillness. It's here, in this quiet refuge, that he has an incredible encounter with a playful boy named Jesus, who's just hanging out in torn baggy trousers. In this safe harbor, shielded from the chaos outside, Zan finally confesses his deepest fear, turning evil and hurting the girl he loves. And Jesus delivers this incredible lifeline, explicitly breaking the illusion of fate. He tells him, "You cannot be born evil. Evil is a choice." This quiet sanctuary moment fundamentally reshapes Zan's identity, and really sets the stage for all his future choices.
Now let's break down the shifting dynamic and the evolution of trust between Zan and Ayumi. Ayumi's internal struggle was driven by some really heavy guilt. She felt secretly responsible for a tragedy in Zan's family, to the point where she had effectively forgotten how to laugh. She was hesitating to step into the role of an active hero. But, triggered by a riddle from Jesus, she suddenly remembers the very first time she felt joy again. It was when Zan drew this silly comic, a stickomic, just for her. You see, laughter serves as this beautiful, absolutely crucial bridge for healing trauma. By tracking Zan down in the rain and embracing him, Ayumi proves her love outshines any dark prophecy. She transforms from guilt-driven hesitation to active heroism, and that allows Zan to finally begin accepting his own self-worth.
Moving on to Section 2, the Realm of Nightmares journey.
So it turns out tomorrow is Zan's 19th birthday, December 24th. When Ayumi hypothetically asks what he wants, Zan admits he just wishes he could see his parents. Now, since his father is the literal Nightmare King, Ayumi, later joined by Face and Victoria, decides the only logical birthday surprise is to march directly into the realm of nightmares to get a family picture. I mean, talk about a dedicated friend, right? Track this dramatic timeline with me. They leave the bright, comforting hope of the human world and plunge into this blood-red, oppressive gloom. By hour 1, they're navigating the sight-distorting, twisted trees of the gloomy forest of confusion. By hour 2, they have to bribe a skeletal boatman to cross a literal river of blood, relying totally on Face's mythological knowledge. And by hour 3, they are battling giant, terrifying mythological cobras in the bleak valley of dry bones. It is a grueling gauntlet of terror specifically designed to break their spirits.
Which brings us to Section 3, Confronting the Soul Despair.
Just as those giant cobras are about to overwhelm them, the trio is rescued by a massive mythological bird called a roc. But of course, safety comes with a catch. They're going to be eaten unless they answer 3 impossible riddles. Now watch how Face's intellect absolutely shines here. He instantly knocks out the first 2 riddles, thunder and lightning and the human heart. But the third riddle, it's a total psychological trap. What is the roc thinking? Face brilliantly deduces that the mighty creature is actually confused by their profound, reckless hope in such a dark place. He declares that no matter how small hope seems, its power is strong enough to part darkness itself. These answers aren't just clever trivia, they are profound philosophical statements about memory, resilience, and defying your destiny.
After that, the rock drops them at the final border, a massive temple guarded by a giant, muscle-bound statue known as Despair. And here's the kicker. Human weapons simply don't work against despair. It's a powerful metaphor for the emotional battles in our own lives, isn't it? Foss realizes he has to rely on true emotion. Drawing on memories of the earth always supporting him through his weakest moments, Foss unleashes a devastating attack called Turanian indignation. He actually sacrifices his own life energy, fading into sparks just to break the statue's defenses. In his fading moments, he reveals an incredible truth. The blade of hope, it isn't a physical sword at all. It's the human heart. Because they believe in Foss's sacrifice, Victoria and Ayumi's own weapons transform, allowing them to finally shatter the statue of despair. It beautifully shows us that true hopelessness is only defeated by shared, unwavering will.
Next up is Section 4, the Nightmare King's Test.
With despair defeated, Ayumi and Victoria finally arrive at the dark, imposing throne room. Ayumi pleads for a picture of Zaun's parents to bring him happiness. But the Nightmare King is deeply skeptical of her sudden loyalty. He decides to test her true convictions with a critical riddle. If a child is prophesied to bring disaster, should it be exterminated or preserved? And he gives her a severe warning. Her answer won't just determine if she gets the birthday gift. It will determine whether Faye's consciousness is restored from the void, and ultimately, it will determine Zaun's entire future. The stakes literally could not be higher. This powerfully illustrates the overarching tension of the entire story. Think about the weight of predestination. The old Ayumi, bound by guilt and duty, would have totally believed the prophecy and said the child must be exterminated to save the world. But now, we see her incredible transformation. Remembering Zaun's smile and all the pure good he's done, Ayumi chooses the power of personal choice. She answers that life is a precious gift. Every living being deserves a choice and a chance to forge their own destiny. Because a loving God wouldn't create someone solely for destruction. The Nightmare King actually accepts her profound answer. He revives Face and gives Ayumi his late wife's diary.
Let's dive into Section 5, Beauty and the Nightmare.
Ayumi, Victoria, and Face return to the human world just in time to throw Zan an absolutely epic surprise birthday party. Let's unpack the lore that gets revealed when Zan opens his present and reads his mother's diary by the fountain. The diary details a stunning chronological history from 20 years ago. Princess Ariel of the Dream World ventured into the Nightmare Realm and discovered that the Nightmare King, Sanziri, wasn't a monster at all. He was a deeply sorrowful and kind man. However, Ariel's father, the Dream King, was utterly terrified of a prophecy saying their union would spawn a world-ending Dreamweaver. Out of fear, he set a cowardly trap and murdered Sanziri. But, and here's the beautiful part, Ariel's tears of true love magically revived him. It's this profound moment highlighting the symbolism of light versus nightmare darkness. The pure light of the dream world and the deep darkness of the nightmare realm united to create hope. Zan was then cast into the human reality as a baby just to protect him, giving him the ultimate gift, the freedom to choose his own path.
These are the really profound thematic lessons taught by both his mentor, Wani, and his father, the Nightmare King, which ultimately reshape who Zaun is. Think about it. Nightmares and fear are absolutely essential, because without them, we humans could never step up and find our courage. Sorrow isn't just pain. It actively breeds compassion and understanding for other people. And death, as tragic as it is, forces us to appreciate the fragile, fleeting gift of life. By absorbing the practical wisdom of Wani and the sweeping emotional revelations of his father's past, Zaun realizes he isn't some doomed monster born of hatred. No way. He is the literal incarnation of his parents' profound love. Prophecy can always be rewritten by our choices.
And that brings us to our final segment, Section 6, Choice Overcomes Predestination.
I absolutely love this thematic bookend. Throughout this entire story, we see this recurring concept of hidden identity. Zan's birthday is December 24th, right? Well, Jesus tells Zan his birthday is the very next day. Both of them carry massive, world-altering, cosmic significance within the narrative. Yet how do they actually act? With immense, grounded humility. Jesus wears torn clothes and worries about missing supper, while Zan uses his incredible powers not to conquer the world, but just to play a game of tag with little kids. It's a beautiful contrast between their secret, high-stakes lineage and their humble, loving actions in the present moment.
Let's lock all this in with a final study guide summary detailing the key conflicts and resolutions we've tracked today.
In the Lost Smile arc, the key conflict was Zan's crippling internal fear of his destiny, which was resolved by finding true self-worth through Ayumi's unwavering love and trust. In the Gift arc, that massive external conflict of battling through the Nightmare Realm, that was truly a vessel for Ayumi internally proving to the Nightmare King that choice undeniably beats prophecy. And in the Beauty and the Nightmare arc, uncovering the hidden truth of his birth resolves Zan's identity crisis once and for all, allowing him to realize he's a product of light and love rather than just dark destiny.
So I'll leave you with this one final, deeply provocative question. If a being composed of literal darkness, the king of nightmares himself, can choose compassion over destruction, and if a boy prophesied to end the world can choose to use a light of pure love to save children, then what truly dictates the narrative of our own lives? Is it the weight of our origins, the prophecies spoken over us, and the heavy expectations placed upon our shoulders? Or is it the sheer undeniable power of our daily choices, our resilience in the face of despair, and the human connections we fight so desperately to protect? Think about that as you navigate your own challenges this week. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and keep learning.